Alrighty, and welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we'll be covering a couple of our medium DPS characters for the solo raid node attempts. Hopefully I'll be able to pull these off for y'all. Most of them, it's fairly difficult for them to pull off because of the way their abilities and the fact that they lack healing. Basically, the ones that do better are the ones that have a little bit of CC or some evasive maneuvering. So Alexa is a good one. Gedron can kind of do that. Kirito, he just has probably the most damage out of all of them, except for Zero. Potentially his damage is higher as long as they don't resist his bleeds. But I feel like Kirito is pretty good. But we're going to be attempting to do Alexa here for y'all today. Basically, you want Root Trap, you want her Cleave, and then you want her Spear Throw. So she needs to be at least 4-star in order to solo these nodes safely, is my opinion. This just helps add a little bit more damage and DPS, but it really isn't needed for her 5-star ability. And upgrading these don't really add a whole lot. Like, it adds a little bit of poison, which unfortunately poison I think it does less damage than burn, just because there are less instances of characters who could burn. But it's fairly low damage at the end, and it's hard to, and like the duration isn't long enough, the damage isn't long enough, so poison overall just isn't very good for her. So primary use is this Cleave, which is an 8-second cooldown, and it pushes back all enemies in a coned AoE. So basically she'll go up, she'll cleave people, or she'll spear throw them, which also applies root. And so basically it's a 10-second cooldown, so you're going to be doing a rotation where you're kiting people, spear throw, cleave, and then once, because it lasts for 3 seconds, and so there's a 5-second duration where you're waiting for enemies who are coming after you, and that's when you could use your root trap here. Then you could just skirt around them. So she won't work on nodes that have ranged enemies, and she doesn't do very well versus nodes that have a lot of strong tanky enemies as well. So let's see, enemies have 2 times speed. Yeah, we're not going to do that one. I think we're just going to have to go over here and attempt some of the easy battle nodes over here. It's probably the best bet, the orc path for her. And we're going to hop in with Alexa, make sure these are turned down, because you don't want to... I used to do that when I started playing because there would be a delay in the load screen and then how enemies would act when you would spawn, and so I would load in and my character would already be like running halfway over there, so I'm like, ah. So basically what I want to do is I want to come over here, and I'm just going to wait a little bit for her cooldowns. I always want to make sure that my leader ability is ready and off of its cooldown in order to start engaging in these enemies. And so she'll do spear throw, then she'll do her thing, and then so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to root them, and she's going to get in range and do her whirlwind, and that is her only, like, her second ability that is somewhat ranged. And so these guys I'm not too worried about, just because I can kite them, so I'm just going to let them come into range and smack them with my giant spear here. I have, I think, 2 more seconds, and then I can spear throw. Alright, and there we go, beautiful. Okay, so we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to get in range, and then she should spear throw here, or knock back. There's the spear throw. Alright, and then now she'll follow up with her whirlwind, should be the next on her rotation here. And now we're going to retreat. So I'm going to move closer so I get knockback for this guy. Spear throw, and then next will be her whirlwind most likely, but I'm going to go ahead and root. And then that's the other thing, is after you use her LA, she'll often start running towards them without a delay cooldown. So it's kind of interesting because her attack animation, ooh, that was kind of weird, you all see that? Her attack animation anyways for the LA, she'll continue casting it while she's moving forward. So it's quite odd, but that's how it is. You know, nothing much I can do about that. So it's just me trying to work with it. So should get the knockback here, and then I'm going to basically root them, and I'm going to hold my position and root again and smack. And so something else I didn't talk about for these kinds of characters who are a little bit weaker, there is an option now with the Power Stones where you could put on a Leech Powerstone, and it really helps to make these solo node attempt runs easier for these melee characters who really can't deal with the ranged enemies as easily as some of these other ones, especially if they're a little bit squishier. And so this is the super annoying thing about these mer guys, and the tentacle guys as well. They have this long range auto attack where it's like a delay from their pushback. I'm just gonna go ahead and root them over there. I'm just gonna stay far out of range so they can't get me. Move a little bit further so I could spear throw. Alright, and then we're good to go. So, but anyways, the Leech Power Stones really help a lot. And I didn't even look at the Leech Power Stones, and you saw all of her abilities are pretty much 2s. I think I had 1 3. So I'm just going to go ahead and aggro them all right now, just because there are no ranged enemies. So the way to deal with ranged enemies when you're fighting with her is to use that trap ability, and then root with the spear throw, and then you'll run away, depending on how great the range is. And because there's quite a bit of duration between them with regards to how long her spear throw could last and the duration of the root on her leader ability here. So I think if you get her leader ability up to level 6, that helps a lot, as well as if you were to... Ooh, hold on. Come on. Alright, now we're going to run. Ooh. See, you see how far away that range is? It's super annoying that they're able to do that, where it attacked through the thing and was still able to hit me. So I'm going to check my health right now just to be safe, so I could take 2 more hits. And then on the 3rd hit, I'll be dead. Alright, so that's 1 hit. So we're going to wait for that to cast. Alright, now we're just going to double follow up. And I'm going to stand in range so I could get the knockback. And then it's going to do its weird tentacle cast, and then afterwards it should try to do 1 more long ranged attack on me. Or not. So we're going lucky here. I could take literally 1 more hit left, and then if not, I might need to abandon this attempt. So I'm just staying far out of range as possible. Just going to keep running. I'm going to root to be safe, and then I'm going to stand here and spear throw. And alright, now we're safe. So this is going to be the hard part, is to see whether or not I could survive their volley right here, because probably if all of them attack me at once, I'm going to die here. And so I think the strategy I'm going to go for here is I'm going to root them all. I'm just going to run them around the circle and hope that I don't get shot at. So I'm just going to go here, and then I'm going to run, just because the poison damage is so low. Alright, so I just need to make sure they're all going the same direction, leading them around the circle. Come on, keep going. No. Alright, there we go. I still have 8 seconds left. Oh, it's so stressful. So I'm just going to hold here, kill the snake. So I'm going to take 1 shot probably. Alright, here we go. We're going to go this way. We're just going to keep going. Hopefully the poison kills him. Whew. Alright. Hopefully we should be good. I just need to make sure I stay out of range here, because luckily this type of enemy, they have to deal with the circle edge as well, so they can't shoot through them, which is great. There are some enemies where they can lock onto you, and then as you continue moving, they could still hit you. So sometimes it's the case with this enemy, and sometimes it's not. So I'm going to shoot it over here. And luckily, Alexa, she's one of the few characters where the way her LA works is not directly linear, because it's like a trap placement rather than a toss or a shoot or anything. And so she has the best chance of going around corners and such, more so than any other character. So that is one of her other advantages, is that. But I hope you guys enjoyed that Alexa run. It was fairly difficult. I was saved by that final room, even with dealing with long-range characters. She does, I believe, have a movement speed passive. Let me check here. Yeah, movement speed passive. So you can bump this up a little bit, and that helps to kite almost all of the enemies as well, if needs be. And it's also useful for doing DD runs. But anyways, that was Alexa, and we'll see you all in the next video.